I think that brings us very clearly to Mr. Dilip Chenoy and the National Skill Development Council. The entire perspectives of how can we how do we integrate persons with disabilities to become productive members of society. And yes, education is a right, but skill development is an option. Would love to hear your perspectives on this, sir.
Thank you, Shilpi. And just, I normally get confused with the National Skill Development Council, but that's the Prime Minister's Council, which is the overall body which leads skill development in the country. I work for the National Skill Development Corporation, which is kind of mandated to do something which has never been attempted anywhere in the world, and it is to skill 150 million people by 2022. I was quite fascinated by, George, the points that you made, because if I were to take what you said and actually just share what we think or what we are trying to do, perhaps it will show that actually we're ignorant. NSDC is ignorant because we don't know how to address the challenges of this sector. For the simple reason, and some of you in the audience were there also on the 2nd of December, if I remember the date correctly, in the India International Center. And one of the things came out is that there are multiple organizations that deal in the sector. And we are trying to find how to actually interact and how to actually do and work with this sector. For example, we are very keen to promote something for the blind. But we have had 6 or 7 different organizations actually come up to us and say, can we work? So we were totally ignorant, and then we started something thinking that one body was the coordinating body, and can we do it? Then we said, okay, we need to work with multiple people. But I think that's one challenge that we need to address. But we come from a position where we actually are doing exactly what George talked about. We don't see people with disabilities as being a liability. We see them as being an asset. And we want to invest in them. Now, investing in them so that they could make economic contribution and become a resource is what we are trying to do. But unfortunately, when we talk to people, the first thing that we get from all the organizations in this space who are either doing work in skilling people and getting them jobs, this is a very simple thing, is that this is for the disabled, so it has to be in a charity mode. You need to give grants so we could do this. And we go back and say, if inclusion is being treated like all the other people, then for the whole of the rest of the sector, NSDC only gives soft loans for organizations to do scalable, sustainable skill development initiatives and put them in jobs. So, how can we actually do this? The other thing about inclusion which we found, and this may come as a surprise to many, or you might know it, and again I'm saying I'm ignorant, is that we found that inclusion meant that you get into the mainstream. So, it is very interesting. I went to workshops that were run by the hearing impaired or the blind or people with other disabilities. I never saw anyone in that workshop who could actually help them to do what they wanted to do in terms of quality, productivity, or cost. And if you included these 2 or 3 people or 4 people who were not disabled, who would actually help in your quality control, productivity, in your accounting, you could actually turn around that whole institute and make it sustainable. So, we said, inclusion also means letting other people come into your areas of work and allowing them to actually work with you shoulder to shoulder and making a unit sustainable. So, talking is not what we do. We are very bad at communicating and talking. So we said, can we do an experiment? We again found that there was the National Trust, which dealt with people with autism, multiple disabilities. And we said, we found they had 900 workshops around the country. I mean, imagine 900 workshops around the country making a variety of products, and you had a marketing organization. So we said, can we run, how do we make them sustainable? So after a lot of discussion, we found that let's run a business plan competition. Now it is unheard of, to run a business plan competition among 900 workshops, who are dealing with people with a disability. I mean, the first thing, the heads of workshop did not know how to write a business plan. So let's get Ernst & Young, let's get a startup, and let's get someone else to help them to write a business plan. And we said that, we will give you an award. And again, the thing was, the money is limited, so, can we do 1, 2, 3 awards? And I came and said, any business plan that is sustainable, we will fund. Interestingly, we got 6 business plans that wanted funding, and we funded each one of them. And what was even more fascinating was, some of the people who put in these plans, the prize money was enough to make them sustainable. And the others are using that prize money to actually build a sustainable plan and go on. And this is what we try to do. We say, okay, can we now do the second round? Because 1 year after the first round, and we want to make it sustainable, we want to do it round, and we want to take this to other aspects. Now, this is what we are trying to do. Whether it'll succeed or not, it's actually something going forward. Now, just to clear the air on skills and the government, since I think it's important for me to do that. Very interestingly, there is a national skills policy of 2009. It actually has a very strong paragraph on people with disabilities. So it's actually there. Now, there is the National Skill Coordination Board, which is the board that coordinates the actions of different state governments, the different departments and ministries on what the country is doing on skill development. And I'm just happy to share that, you may not know it, but there were actually 3 presentations in the last Skill Coordination Board meeting to take initiatives and say, okay, what are you people doing? And again, the challenge here is that, first of all, people did not know what is happening around the country. So that was a more information kind of gathering kind of a thing. And then saying, what can we do going forward? So what I can just say and leave it at this, because we'll come back to the questions and discussions later. It's 2 things that we are trying to do. The first is, we're actually trying to enable organizations that are in this space to develop sustainable, scalable initiatives here. Now,